Jesus Christ, that's hot. It's 39.4 degrees in here at the moment in the greenhouse. It's all getting a bit much, so I'll just give you a very quick look at what's in the greenhouse and then we'll get out into the breeze. These are the cucumbers that have been in the ground, I think about 2 weeks now. And you can see the way I've planted them here. What I've done, because they're susceptible to rotting at the base in damp soil, I've planted them in a pot with the bottom cut off, so that they're actually sitting ever so slightly above ground level, which stops the base of that stem getting too soggy and stops them rotting off. It's less of a worry now it's got hot, but a couple of weeks ago when they went in the cooler weather, that can finish them off quite quickly. There's one there that the slugs finished off, and you can see they've been chewing on that leaf as well. So beer traps time there. And the sweet peppers are doing all right. God, I've got to make this quick. It is sweltering in here. 1, 2, 3, 4 sweet peppers. This one here, if we look closely, you can see lots of dead aphids on the leaves. Note I used the word dead. I just sprayed them with Ecova. You know, Ecova washing up liquid, the all natural stuff. That's all you need for aphids. Stops them in their tracks. I can hear the bees. They're on my comfrey. Let's have a quick look at them. They're everywhere, and there's all sorts of different bees as well. There's all sorts of different bumblebees, all different species of honeybees. They absolutely love comfrey, and that's why I put it here. So that's mission accomplished. It does have 2 uses, comfrey. It starts off for the bees, and then once the flowers are done, chop it all down, and I turn it into a really amazing homemade organic plant food. Stinks to high heaven, absolutely rank, but it really does a good job. Let's see what I've been up to. They look nice, don't they? Let's see what I've been doing. I was going to film this when I finished, just before I go home, but to be honest, the heat is just so intense today. I reckon it's probably about 27-ish. I'll be flaked out by the time I've finished, so I'm having a quick break in what I'm doing, because the allotment's looking brilliant at the moment. I've been up here 3 or 4 days since I last filmed. Everything's coming along really nicely, so I do apologise in advance. It's time for quite a lengthy tour. The tomatoes are looking really healthy. They're all doing well. This beefsteak one down here is doing something ever so slightly weird. To anybody who knows about side shooting and pruning tomatoes as they grow, you'll know about the leader and you'll know about the side shoots. Well, as I do with all of my tomato plants, I take the side shoots off. But this one has actually developed to a point where what would be the leader appears to be a flower stem, a fruit branch. So I'm going to wait and see what happens with that. That's a bit weird. Normally you'd expect to see a leader at the top, like you've got here. Here's the leader. Here's the leader. On this beefsteak, flowers. So what I'm thinking is going to happen is it's probably going to start to develop a new leader somewhere, and I'll let that one continue. Other than that little oddity, the tomatoes are doing really well. They like it out here in the shelter, and they're in some really good deep soil there. If the sun stays like this, I'm going to do well for figs this year. There's a ton of little fresh new figs growing on here. There's one there, look. And last year, I got some really nice ripe brown figs. They were delicious. Not too many, but they were lovely. You can't see the chickens at the moment, they're all in the shade. Sensible girls. Loads of apples, the blossoms all come and gone, the apples have all set. These have had a little bit of a summer prune because they were getting a little bit unruly on some of their longer branches. So they've had a little bit of a summer prune. And if they don't do a little June drop soon, then I will instigate my own little June drop to ensure that, where is it, there it is, ensure that the apples we've got do get nice and big. Onions and peas, all coming along a treat, not too much to say there. And just next to the onions and peas, we've got my 2 courgette plants. You don't want to plant too many courgette plants because you're pulling 3 or 4 of them a day off of these. And I don't even like courgettes very much. I can eat them in like a vegetarian lasagna or something like that, but I don't really do that sort of cooking. Courgettes, they're chicken food, nice free chicken food all the way through the summer. Right, the flower bed, the wild flower bed. Actually, let's get round this side. You can see the pond as well. There you go, Mr. Frog's in there somewhere. All these wild flowers, they're looking lovely. We've got more foxgloves. There's campanulas, oxeye daisies. There's some, what do you call it, crocosmia coming through in the middle. We've got evening primrose still coming through. We've got teasel still coming through. Pulmonaria, chives, forget-me-nots. What else have we got down there? Anyway, there's more than I can mention. Poppies of various descriptions in there. All kind of, you know, proper native wildflowers. The sort of thing that our bees and our butterflies appreciate the most. It's what they've evolved with. There's my first early potatoes tucked at the back there. They're not going to be long at all now. They're all in tubs. They're all in tubs because they grow so quickly. They don't actually need to grow in the ground. They're absolutely fine in tubs, and it's a hell of a lot more convenient. So I'll just keep watering them. You harvest them long before blight appears, so I don't need to worry about overcrowding them because of blight. They'll all be fine in there at this time of year. Won't be too long and I'll be eating those. And there's my second early potatoes. They're the Charlottes. You can see they're all coming through the straw very nicely. 100% success rate. Even there's one here that I thought had failed. It is actually coming through. Where are we? Oh, I bet you can't see it. Anyway, it's there, it's coming through. Those onions are doing nicely, although a few have bolted. A few have bolted and put on flower spikes. I've gone around chopping them all off this morning. Now, that's not the end of the world. I'll show you what you end up with here. When they bolt, it doesn't mean you've got a useless onion. It just means that when you harvest that onion, you're going to have to make that one of the ones that you eat quite quickly. They won't store. And the reason being, when you chop off that flower spike, you're left with a hollow stem, and rainwater gets in there, fungal infections get in there, all sorts of things get in there that you don't want in the heart of your onion, and that does go down to the centre of the actual onion bulb itself. So they tend not to store very well. You want to eat those ones first. But as long as you do that, you'll be alright. My garlic are putting their scapes up. Scapes are these curly little pigtail things, look. Oh, they're the flowers. They curl around as they come out. And just a couple of weeks before they're ready to harvest, which these are, they're not far off it now. The trick with garlic, traditionally, is to plant it on the shortest day of the year and harvest it on the longest day of the year. So these went in mid-December, and they'll be coming out. When is the longest day? It's not long now, is it? Just a few weeks away. But anyway, they always put these scapes out just before they're ready. You need to go around and chop those off because you don't want the plant putting energy into producing flowers. You want the plant to be swelling its bulbs, so you've got nice big bits of garlic. And these are nice. They're very nice. They've got a kind of nice crunchy texture, and they've got a kind of mild spring onion flavour. Yeah. Très bon. Asparagus is doing well. It's doing a bit too well. I need to keep on top of it. It grows so quickly. I need to cut down these ones that are getting too tall, because once it starts to put its ferns out, it slows down its production of nice new shoots, which are the ones you want to eat. So I need to trim them. strawberries are coming on great. Loads and loads and loads of young green fruits forming. Won't be long before they start turning red. And before they do, I need to get the netting over. I've been out and specifically bought some special bird netting, which doesn't allow small birds and frogs to get caught in it. Because I've seen too many people use that really cheap pea netting stuff. I've been doing their gardens in the past, and I found desiccated, mummified frogs and birds caught in the netting. So this stuff I've bought, it'll keep the birds off my strawberries, but it won't hurt them and it won't hurt the frog. Main crop potatoes. This bed here is going to have my brassicas in it. Hold on, I'm chewing and chewing and chewing here. Give me a second. Right. This bed here is going to have my brassicas in it. I've mulched it. I've covered it with cardboard and compost, leaf mould, sawdust, bit of hay, all sorts. Not too much hay. Sorry, straw. Not too much straw, because it's going to have me swedes and me cauliflowers in it. And they are not plants you want slugs around. So I've been a little bit more careful about what I've used as a mulch. You can see here, this particular section is mostly homemade compost and leaf mould. When I next get paid in a couple of weeks' time, I'm going to build a big walk-in cage. Because previous years I've been using these. That one's laying on its back there, ready to go. I've been using these, but to get under them and tend to your plants, you've got two choices. You can either lift the whole thing up. Now that's 10 foot long and it's made out of rebar, all welded together. It weighs a ton. Or you have to get down on your hands and knees and crawl underneath it. And neither of those are really suitable for me anymore. So, like you can see, Sue and Vern have got over there this nice big walk-in cage. And they've got their cabbages and stuff in there, their broccoli or whatever. I'm going to build something very similar here as a permanent feature. Just giving me much better accessibility, much easier to look after. And because I couldn't get under there last winter, I really let the weeds go riot. I can't do that, so hang on, got a hair in my mouth now. I can't do that now, so I'm going to build something that I can that I know can last for a while, and save me a bit of effort. I'll just get me sweet corn in here. A few more to go. They're getting put in. And then once my sweet corn are finished, I've also got all my squashes. I've got butternut squashes and I've got ushiki curries. They're the ushiki curries. Butternut squashes are over there somewhere. I've managed to get my, what do you call them? Pink fir apple potatoes. They're in. You might say it's a bit late for putting them in, but not really actually with pink fir apples, because they're not ready until winter anyway. And they store so well. Part of the reason they store so well is that they actually take forever to chit the next year. So I had these pink fir apples sitting around for ages waiting to go in perfect chitting conditions, and they've only just started to chit. So it's not a problem putting them in this late. Carrots. Plenty coming through there. Plenty coming through there. You might wonder what this open top netting's all about. What's that protecting them from? Well, it's protecting them from carrot fly. Carrot fly larvae lay little worms that burrow into your carrots. But they can only fly about 18 inches above ground level. Up and down at ground level. They're not very good. They can't actually get over the tops of these. So this is perfectly adequate. It works well. And this stuff has lasted me a long time. I was surprised. For plastic netting, you can see how fine the mesh is. It is very, very fine. This has lasted me like, this might be year 5. It's done well. I still need to weed these two out. They're full of willow herb. Not looking forward to that. I'm going to do a bit more today. This heat is walloping me a bit. But doesn't it look nice? Oh, there's something else, look. These big tall yellow flowers here. That's last year's parsnips that I didn't harvest. That bathtub there, it's got parsnips in it. So they've sat there all winter, and now they've flowered. And somebody told me if I leave them, these are an absolute haven for bees and butterflies. I can see it's already got a ton of little hoverflies all over it. So it's just coming into flower now. I'm going to hold back on taking those out and getting rid of them. I'm going to let them do their job. The other thing, of course, just over there, the bees are loving. See all these little flowers here? Not the yellow ones, these little white ones. This needs a lot of grass pulling out. There's more in there, they're all over the place. And here's the giveaway. All these lovely little berries just waiting to ripen. In amongst all this grass and cleavers and thistles, I've got to get to work on this. It's all my loganberries, tayberries, blackberries, raspberries. These are the blackberries over this end, all of these little pinkish flowers. And you can see this is crawling with bees as well. So this is definitely a good site for bees, isn't it? We've got the usual enormous amount of black currants and red currants coming through. Always get absolutely loads of them. Nice jam. Tons of them. Oh, where are we? Oh, there. And then the rhubarb just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Quite a few plums on there this year, although I can see some pigeon damage. Can you see that that bare patch on that branch? That's where the pigeons have been stripping the young leaves off. But they seem to have moved on because I can see little tiny new ones coming through. Plenty of pears here. And even more pears here. And this one here, this is known as a chokeberry. I don't know its actual name, don't know its Latin name, but it's known as a chokeberry. And it's from, I can't remember exactly. Oh, I know, it's from Siberia. Comes from really poor rocky soil in Siberia, where of course they get some of the coldest winters going. But the berries that this produces, you can see them all clustered on there. They're still green at the moment, but they're coming. The berries that you get on here, they're supposed to be one of the superfoods. You know, anti-aging, anti-cancer, anti-Alzheimer's, anti-this and that. And it will grow anywhere. It gets no pests, it gets no diseases. It can live in the driest, poorest soil. And year after year, it gives you all these disgusting little bitter sour blackberries. I should mention that. They are disgusting. But they're extremely good for you. And I've never tried it, but I would imagine just like other sour fruits, gooseberries, sloes, whatever. There are things you can do with them, jams, whatever, to make them taste nice. It was the name that made me bought it. Who couldn't have a tree called a chokeberry? So there you are then. Just a quick little catch up. I'm going to finish getting my sweet corn in. I'm going to tidy up, do a bit of watering, tidy up, and go and do a little bit of work in the garden at home. It looks great, doesn't it, this time of year? Everything's just coming through, everything's kicking off nicely. I'll go and do a walking video again soon. I'm working next weekend, so I've booked the Monday and Tuesday off, the following Monday and Tuesday. I might go for a walk then, we'll see. But next stop, Grim's Ditch. I did film. I spent 4 hours filming at Grim's Ditch, and then I deleted it all by mistake. So I'm going to go back to Grim's Ditch. Possibly next week, if not, definitely the week after. See you later. That's it. It's too hot. I'm off. I'm beginning to feel like him.